So, it's been a little while since we have done one of our 2009 vs 2019 Combined 11s, and that is because next up had to be Bayern Munich. As regular viewers and subscribers to this channel will know, the system works as follows. We compare the players who played most frequently in each position in the 2008-09 season with the 11 who played most frequently in the 2018-19 season, before picking the better of the two players in each position to give us a Combined 11. Now, with Bayern, things just didn't really fall into place. The formations were hard to assimilate, people you'd want to start played fewer games than inferior players, and some of the decisions were pretty tricky. We don't like to shirk a challenge though, so today it is finally ready for you. Back in 2008-09, Bayern had a pretty miserable campaign by their very high standards. They finished second in the Bundesliga, missing out to Wolfsburg, who won the league title. They lost in the quarter-finals of the DFB Pokal to Bayer Leverkusen and went out in the quarter-finals of the Champions League to Barcelona. 10 years on, Bayern just ended what threatened to be a similarly disappointing campaign with 3 trophies. A late rally saw the Bavarians eclipse Borussia Dortmund to win the league title. RB Leipzig were comfortably beaten in the final of the DFB Pokal, and Eintracht Frankfurt were brutally thrashed 5-0 in the final of the DFL Super Cup last August. On a less positive note, the club did very little in Europe, although they did at least lose their round of 16 tie to eventual winners Liverpool. Here is our Bayern Munich 2009 vs Bayern Munich 2019 Combined 11. Goalkeeper: Michael Rensing vs Manuel Neuer. Manuel Neuer joined Bayern Munich in the summer of 2011, and he has been the club's undisputed first choice and one of the finest goalkeepers in the world ever since. Back in 08-09 though, before the big World Cup winner arrived, Bayern's first choice was Michael Rensing. A regular for Bayern's reserve team, Rensing is still playing now for Fortuna Düsseldorf, and the 2008-09 campaign was the 35-year-old's only season as first choice at the Allianz Arena. Meanwhile, having played virtually no football in the 2017-18 season, Manuel Neuer was excellent once again in Bavaria this season, banishing any doubts that he may have lost his magic. He's the obvious choice as our number 1. Right back: Christian Lell vs Joshua Kimmich. It's another very easy decision between uncapped German fullback Christian Lell and current Bayern sensation Joshua Kimmich at right back. Lell spent 7 years as a utility player in Bavaria, only getting regular game time between 2007 and 2009. Kimmich has been one of Bayern's outstanding players since Pep Guardiola decided that right back was his best position. He could yet become a top-class midfielder, but he spent most of the season just gone at right back, and that's where he'll start in our Combined 11. Centre back: Lucio vs Niklas Süle. Following 2 easy decisions, this is just the kind of horrible one I alluded to in the introduction. Lucio is one of Brazil's greatest ever centre-backs, and he won over 100 caps for his country, with whom he won the World Cup in 2002. Niklas Süle is still only 23 and doesn't have a list of achievements to rival Lucio's, but he has been excellent in his first 2 seasons with the club and arguably more consistent than either Jerome Boateng or Mats Hummels in that time. Süle is an excellent defender who could yet have a better Bayern career than Lucio, but we're going with the big Brazilian. A rock at the back, Lucio is an aggressive centre-back who tended to be first to the ball. He marked opponents fiercely and was dominant in the air. In 8 full Bundesliga campaigns, Lucio made the division's Team of the Year 6 times. Incredibly, he is still playing now at the age of 41. Centre-back: Martin DEMICHELIS vs Mats Hummels. Martin DEMICHELIS was an even longer-term servant to Bayern Munich than his old centre-back partner Lucio, spending over 7 years with the club and registering more than 250 appearances. This was DEMICHELIS just about the peak of his powers as a rugged centre-back who specialised in expertly timed last-minute slide tackles, as well as being a neat passer of the ball. Hummels, meanwhile, has taken a fair bit of stick over the last couple of seasons, and he was dropped from the German national team by manager Joachim Löw, along with Bayern teammates Jerome Boateng and Thomas Muller earlier this season. Whilst Boateng genuinely has dropped off in standards in a big way over the last 2 or 3 seasons, Hummels hasn't been anywhere near as bad as some people have made out. Despite the arrivals of Lucas Hernandez and Benjamin Pavard, I can see Hummels still being a regular fixture next season, and he makes our Combined 11 in favour of Martin DEMICHELIS. Left back: Philipp Lahm versus David Alaba. Quite possibly the nastiest decision in this 11, it seems wrong that either Philipp Lahm or David Alaba should miss out. I won't beat around the bush, it's Alaba who misses out, since although Philipp Lahm was playing slightly out of position during the early stages of his Bayern career and would go on to reach yet new heights at right back, he was still an incredible fullback. One of the finest fullbacks of the modern era, Lahm was intelligent, positionally excellent, a wonderful athlete and a brilliant footballer. Lahm is one of only 3 players to have made 3 separate World Cup Team of the Tournaments, and although Alaba is arguably the best left back in the world, he still misses out to 2009 Lahm. Defensive midfield. Mark van Bommel versus Thiago Alcantara. It's a choice between 2 completely different footballers in holding midfield. Although Mark van Bommel had an impressive range of passing, he was rarely a midfield enforcer who loved to break up play and occasionally leave one on opponents, as he showed at the 2010 World Cup. Thiago is really nothing like that. He's a deep line playmaker who plays with a beauty and an intelligence to his game with a stamp of La Masia all over his play. Make no mistake, Van Bommel was a terrific footballer, and for the right occasion, he'd be your man. However, I'm a bit of a footballing purist, and Thiago is one of the most gifted midfielders in the world, so he's my choice here. Central midfield. Bastian Schweinsteiger versus Leon Goretzka. He may be playing as a centre-back for Chicago Fire now, but 10 years ago, Bastian Schweinsteiger was a pretty offensive midfielder, and occasionally even a winger, which is where he played for Germany at Euro 2008. The man he is up against, Leon Goretzka, has had a very good debut campaign at the Allianz Arena, but it's a tough challenge he's up against here. The 2008-09 season was Bastian Schweinsteiger's best in terms of goals, bagging 9, and only Lucio could match his 44 appearances that season. The beating heart of the Bayern Munich team for so long, Schweinsteiger was a brilliant leader, a well-rounded midfielder, and there's really no way that we could leave him out. Central midfield. Zé Roberto versus Thomas Müller. Again, we're comparing 2 very different players here, since Zé Roberto was an incredibly versatile footballer who could play in a variety of positions from left back to central midfield, whilst Thomas Müller is also pretty versatile but in a much more attacking sense, having played everywhere between central midfield and centre forward. Zé Roberto tended to play in a deeper midfield role in tandem with Mark van Bommel, where his ability on the ball and energy driving the team forward bred a nice combination. Thomas Müller is maybe a little less gifted in terms of his flair and technique, but he has been a quite incredible servant to both Bayern Munich and the German national team. He scored just 9 goals this season compared to over 30 at his most prolific, but he is now one of the Bundesliga's chief creators. 2 excellent footballers, but Müller has to start. Right wing. Frank Ribery versus Serge Gnabry. It's a really weird decision on the wings, since for most of the 10 years between 2009 and 2019, Bayern Munich had 2 of the best wingers in the world in Frank Ribery and Arjen Robben at their disposal. However, in 2008-09, Ribery had only recently arrived and was playing on the right wing, whilst Robben was still at Real Madrid, and by 2018-19, both players were in their final seasons at the Allianz Arena, aged 35 and 36 respectively. Despite being a fairly new recruit, Frank Ribery was still a star man at Bayern 10 years ago, and he beat Serge Gnabry to a starting berth despite the former Arsenal man impressing this season. Left wing. Lucas Podolski versus Frank Ribery. Okay, so this is where things get weird. Just as Sergio Ramos did in our combined Real Madrid video, Frank Ribery features twice in our Bayern Munich one. Both Podolski in 08-09 and Ribery in 18-19 contributed 6 goals in 25 Bundesliga outings, but Ribery offered more outside of goals and reached that tally playing in a slightly less attacking role. It wasn't a slam dunk by any means, but we're going with the French veteran on the left wing, meaning that we have a wing combination of the 26-year-old Frank Ribery on the right and a 36-year-old Frank Ribery on the left. Centre forward. Miroslav Klose versus Robert Lewandowski. We have the choice of 2 fantastic goalscorers up front between Miroslav Klose and Robert Lewandowski. Both born in Poland, Lewandowski represented his native country, whilst Klose chose to represent Germany, going on to have one of the all-time great international careers and becoming the all-time record goalscorer at the World Cup finals. If this were a combined World Cup 11, Klose would be your man, but it's an equally obvious call in favour of Robert Lewandowski here. Klose bagged 20 goals in 38 games for Bayern in 08-09, whilst Lewandowski has scored 40 goals in 47 games this season. He is Bayern Munich's 4th highest goal scorer of all time, and he's a better all-round forward than Klose, so he's our number 9. The team, including manager and substitutes. Our manager, given that he took over as caretaker boss back in 2008-09, has to be the one and only Jupp Heynckes. On the bench, Michael Rensing has to be our backup goalkeeper, Niklas Süle and David Alaba are the outstanding candidates at centre-back and full-back. Both Mark van Bommel and Roberto have to make the bench, and in the more forward areas, I'm probably unpopularly going to go with Serge Gnabry over Lucas Podolski, and obviously Miroslav Klose as Robert Lewandowski's very capable deputy. To recap, our combined Bayern Munich 2009 versus Bayern Munich 2019 starting 11 looks like this. Manuel Neuer, Joshua Kimmich, Lucio, Mats Hummels, Philipp Lahm, Thiago Alcantara, Bastian Schweinsteiger, Thomas Müller, Frank Ribery, and Robert Lewandowski, with a bench made up of Michael Rensing, Niklas Süle, David Alaba, Mark van Bommel, Roberto, Serge Gnabry, and Miroslav Klose, all under the watchful eye of Bayern great Jupp Heynckes. So that's it for today's video, but I suspect that a lot of you, like me, are feeling a little bit unsatisfied with it. So to make us all feel a bit better, I put together this dream Bayern 11 made up of all their best players over the last decade. I know, I'm sweet like that. Anyhow, thanks for watching. Let us know which teams, at club level or international, that you'd like to see next. Give us a like if you enjoyed the video, and obviously make sure you're subscribed to HITC Sevens, since we will soon be the biggest channel on YouTube, and it's always nice to say that you got in there early.